Hello watch fans, it's Anders here on Watch On channel. Today a video I have really been looking forward making, and I'm really just curious myself to the comparison between the Omega Seamaster 300, one of the most popular luxury modern dive watches, and then a newcomer, at least with the caliber inside of this watch, the Oris Aquis Date Calibre 400. This is my own watch, the Omega. I bought it this year, 2020. And this is on loan from Oris, their Danish distributor. Thank you a lot for loaning in this watch. I really wanted to do a comparison between these two watches, because what do you actually get with the Omega, where you have to pay around $5,000 US? You can of course always bargain and haggle, and then you will probably get the price a little down. I got the version here with the chrome gray dial and on the blue rubber strap. That's the coolest combination in my opinion. And what do you get when you pay $3,500 for the brand new in-house 43.5mm big Aquis Date from Oris, which are really just moving faster and faster up the ladder of quality watches, in my opinion, quality Swiss watches. These of course do have some differences, as this comes on a rubber strap, this comes on a bracelet. Of course, it's also two completely different designs. I would definitely say that the Oris, although it's definitely not a boring watch, it's a little more restrained than the Omega, because the Omega is just kind of a crazy design with the skeletonized handset, this beautiful ceramic dial with laser engraved or etched waves, and the scallop bezel insert, as well as the, here at 10 o'clock, helium escape valve. Definitely a crazy design. With the Oris you do get some more classic design, in my opinion, with more restrained design with the dial, the bezel insert, the handset, and so on and so forth, but definitely not a boring watch. As you can see, the dial here, the sunburst effect and the overall shininess of this orient is just amazing. If you like your watches flashy and shiny and really colorful, then the Oris should definitely be something on your radar. So some of the interesting aspects of a comparison between these two luxury Swiss dive watches is definitely the movements. And in both watches the movements are really special. So Omega is equipped with a Calibre Master chronometer coaxial movement 8800, which does hold a Powersurf of 55 hours. It has a beat rate of 25,200 vibrations per hour. It has a service interval of 5 to 8 years. And this watch is accurate to 1.7 seconds plus a day. I get exactly between 1 and 2 when I time it on my time grapher. So that's quite amazing. And maybe the biggest feature on the Omega coaxial master chronometer 8800 movement here is that it is anti-magnetic to 15,000 Gauss. This essentially means that this watch is completely anti-magnetic. You can bring it everywhere almost. So going to the Oris, this is a big landslide for Oris because it's their first in-house automatic caliber, the Calibre 400. It does have a 120-hour Powersurf, so 5 days. This is just the Omega, a little more than 2 days, so definitely double up on the Oris if you're looking for Powersurf. Another very impressive thing is that they kept the high beat rate of 4 Hz, so 28,800 vibrations per hour. So you will definitely see, it's kind of hard to notice, but you do get a little more smooth movement of the second hand on the Oris compared to the Omega here. It has a service interval of 10 years and a warranty of 10 years, that's what Oris says. And it has an accuracy of +5 to -3 seconds. They do regulate the watches themselves, so they don't chronometer certify these watches as far as I know, but they regulate them themselves. I haven't measured this one on my time grapher, but my experience so far is that it's really accurate, but not as accurate out of the factory as Omega they actually promise. Both watches have a water resistance of 300 meters, so both are dive watches with screw down crowns at 3 o'clock. I really like with both watches that you also get beautiful sapphire crystals with really great AR treatment. As you can see here on the Oris, to take it first, it's a slightly domed sapphire crystal, but almost flat. You get a little more dome on the Omega, but not a lot. So both have these very nice quality sapphire crystals which are just ever so slightly domed. Both watches have ceramic bezel inserts and both watches have 120 click unidirectional bezels. Both watches of course also have a lume pip at 12 o'clock in a triangle. I definitely think that the bezel action on the Omega is much better. It's much smoother. It just feels a lot better than on the Oris. The Oris is more metallic. You can almost hear the sound. It's super accurate. It's much easier to grip than the Omega because the Omega is scalloped. So imagine having to time something while actually using this as a professional dive watch while wearing your dive watch gloves. You will definitely have a problem turning the bezel. You will have absolutely no problem with the Oris. And a really cool thing is that they, as you can see here, actually made the bezel just go a little outside of the watch case, so you will not have problems actually gripping this coin edging here and turning the bezel. But overall the bezel action is definitely better on the Omega in my opinion. If we look at the dial, both of these companies, they like to write a lot of stuff on the dial. So Omega Seamaster Professional below 12 o'clock. Here you have the coaxial chronometer, blah blah blah, master chronometer, 300 meters, date window above 6 o'clock. Oris, they also like to write a lot on the dials, just a very simple Oris name, no logo. Aquis pressure resistant, not water resistant, to 30 bars, 300 meters, and then 5 days. And of course, both watches have Swiss made up at 6 o'clock and a really nice inverted date window here. And that's something you get with high quality watches in my opinion. They do tend for details, and a really nice detail is of course that it's blue writing on gray with the date wheel on the Omega, and it's white writing on almost kind of a black date wheel on the Oris. So going into the sizes before we get into the wearability, the case back, the bracelet and rubber strap, and the finishing on the cases of both watches. The Omega is 42 millimeters in diameter, 13.8 millimeters high, 20 millimeter lug width, and 49.7 millimeter from lug tip to lug tip, almost 50 from lug tip to lug tip. Going over to the Oris, you get 43.1. They actually state that it's 43.5, but I get a little less than that with my caliber. But actually, that's if you measure the bezel insert. If you only measure the case, you get 42 millimeters. Then you get 13.2 millimeters in thickness, 24 millimeter lug width, and that's kind of hard to measure because one of the big problems for some people maybe with the Oris is that it's the proprietary rubber straps and bracelet. So you can see you need a special screwdriver, and you just can't attach any other aftermarket straps to this watch. You have to buy the real deal, and they are of course expensive, but the bracelet is really nice because it tapers, and I also heard a lot of good things about the rubber straps. Then you get 50 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip. Looking at the case finishing on the Omega, it's really high end. It's top quality. Look at this brushing on the sides, and then the polishing on the chamfering of this almost proprietary to Omega lyre shaped case. It's absolutely amazing done. The crown looks amazing, really easy to use. So the finishing, I would say, is definitely better on the Omega. And here you can see the beautiful 8800 master chronometer coaxial movement, beautifully finished. Looking at the finishing of the Oris, it's really nice brushing as well. A little more just kind of regular brushing, nothing too special, but it's definitely well done. And then you get some nice polishing on the top of these lugs. A really nice thing, as I mentioned in my full review, I got reviews of both of these watches. You can find the links down in the description up in the right hand corner during this video, is that you only get 8.6 millimeters from the case to the tip of the lug here. And as you can see, the bracelet, it falls down, so it wears a little bit smaller than its diameter. Really nice finishing on the bracelet. As I said in my full review, it's a smudge magnet. You can see here, I just wiped off this watch and already it's got a lot of fingerprints. So this is a bracelet which will always look a little bit dirty, although it's completely clean. The clasp is really nicely done. Only 3 micro adjustments, so that's a bit of a letdown. And see here the case back. A really cool thing with the movement here. It resembles the Oris Bear with the 2 barrels. It is a very industrial looking movement, not too much done with finishing on this watch, which is a little bit disappointing because you're actually paying $3,500 for this luxury dive watch from Oris. But the movement, it's all about the specifications and the durability and the accuracy. So 120 hours of Powersurf. And even though this is a 42mm watch and almost 50mm from lock tip to lock tip, I can easily pull it off. It feels like you're wearing quite a slim watch, although it's more than 13mm thick. The rubber strap is top quality. Everything is top quality with this rubber strap. And here we have the Oris Aquis Date Calibre 400 on my 17.5 to 18 centimeter wrist. Even though it's a big watch, I can easily pull it off and it doesn't feel too much on my wrist. And I really compliment that to the fact that the case is actually only 42mm from side to side and then 43 point something from side to side with the bezel. And as you can see, the bracelet, it really just hugs your wrist and it falls down. It doesn't go out from the locks and then actually add a millimeter, 2 or 3 millimeters more. So it wears really nicely. The quality of the bracelet is top. It does wear a little bit thicker. Actually, it feels a little bit thicker than the Omega, although it's actually slimmer. And as promised now, the comparison of the Lume. On the left side, we have the Omega. On the right side, we have the Oris. And I must say, it's definitely a clear win for the Omega. It's much brighter, it's much thicker, and they also use 2 different colors. And if you look at the Oris, it's definitely good Lume, but not as bright as the Omega. So this concludes this video, which is my favorite. And also, I would really like to hear which one of these is your favorite. Of course, you pay $1,500 more for this watch compared to the Oris. You can definitely negotiate a lower price. And this will definitely also go out in the secondary market in some months. And then you will find it a little cheaper than $3,500. So just bear in mind that this is $1,500 more expensive than the Oris. But I do overall like the Omega the best. Of course, this is also my own watch. But I think the Omega has a lot more unique presence. It's much more original and it's kind of an updated version of the legendary Pierce Brosnan design from 1995. So definitely I think it has more personality. But it's definitely also a watch that can kind of divide the waters because it is a very expressive watch. It has a very distinct look and a lot of people actually don't like the helium escape valve at 10 o'clock. But I must say that this is a beautiful, amazing watch and I'm definitely considering actually at some point adding this Oris to my collection. Very close race, and if you're looking for a lot of Powersurf, this will definitely win because it's more than double the Powersurf of the Omega. But overall, of course, the Omega wins, but it's not as big a victory as you would probably think. 2 really great watches, and I really enjoy the Oris as well. So which of these 2 dive watches is your favorite? I would love to hear which one of these 2 is your favorite. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and found it useful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet subscribed and push the notification bell, then you will never miss another video. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook and visit my website wristwatchpassion.net. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon again. Bye.